What if the secret to transforming your life, to unlocking your deepest potential and achieving your most ambitious goals, wasn't found in grand sweeping gestures, but in the small, consistent actions you take every single day? Imagine a reality where your daily routines are not sources of frustration or inefficiency, but powerful engines driving you relentlessly towards the person you aspire to become. This isn't a fantasy. It's the untapped power of strategically crafted habits. This journey is designed to demystify the process of habit formation, to equip you with a growth mindset that sees no limit to your capacity for change, and to provide you with practical, actionable strategies to build unstoppable habits effectively. You will learn to dismantle old patterns that no longer serve you, and to architect new ones that align with your highest aspirations, turning daily effort into daily power. The ability to master your habits is the ability to master your life. Daily Power, Crafting Unstoppable Habits Effectively, written and published by Brainpower Blueprint. Chapter 1. Embrace the Growth Mindset. Have you ever looked at someone who effortlessly maintains positive habits, perhaps daily exercise, consistent learning, or healthy eating, and thought to yourself, I wish I could be like that, but I'm just not that kind of person? This seemingly innocent thought, this quiet resignation to your perceived limitations, is often the very first and most significant roadblock to crafting the life you desire. Many people approach habit change with a hidden belief that their ability to stick to routines, their willpower, or their discipline are fixed traits, like eye color or height. They try a new habit, stumble after a few days or weeks, and interpret this setback as definitive proof of their inherent inability to change. See? I knew I couldn't do it. I'm just too lazy, undisciplined, unmotivated. This internal narrative, rooted in what Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck termed a fixed mindset, creates a self-fulfilling prophecy of failure. The problem is that if you fundamentally believe you lack the innate capacity to build and maintain positive habits, your efforts will be half-hearted. Your resilience in the face of inevitable challenges will be minimal, and your past failures will loom as insurmountable evidence of your inadequacy, rather than as learning opportunities. This fixed perspective on your own capabilities becomes the invisible cage that keeps your potential locked away. The transformative solution lies in wholeheartedly embracing the growth mindset as the foundational operating system for all your habit-building endeavors. A growth mindset is the profound understanding and conviction that your abilities, including your capacity for discipline, consistency, and habit formation, are not carved in stone, but are malleable qualities that can be developed and significantly improved through dedication, effort, and learning from experience. The core idea is that becoming a person who successfully builds and sustains positive habits is not about possessing some magical innate talent. It is itself a skill that can be learned and cultivated. When you approach habit change from this perspective, every effort becomes an investment in your growth, every setback transforms into valuable feedback, and every small success builds momentum and self-efficacy. The benefits of adopting this mindset are truly game-changing. You'll approach the process of habit formation with more optimism and resilience. You'll be more willing to experiment and find strategies that work for you, and you'll view challenges not as stop signs, but as invitations to learn and become stronger. It's like shifting from believing you were born unable to climb a mountain to realizing that with the right training, tools, and mindset, you can develop the strength and skill to reach any summit you choose. The first crucial step in embracing a growth mindset for habit formation is to actively challenge and reframe your beliefs about your own capabilities. Pay close attention to your self-talk when you think about habits or personal change. When you catch yourself thinking, I'm not good at sticking to routines, or I've always been a procrastinator, consciously challenge that thought. Ask yourself, is this belief 100% true, or is it an interpretation based on past experiences? Have there been any times, however small, when I did stick to something or overcame procrastination? What if my past difficulties weren't due to a fixed flaw, but to a lack of effective strategies or a mismatched approach? Then, actively reframe the thought. Instead of, I'm not good at this, try, I haven't mastered this yet, but I am learning how. Or, I'm developing the skill of consistency. This works because it shifts your identity from someone with fixed limitations to someone who is a learner, a work in progress. This subtle but powerful reframing opens up the possibility of change and growth, where a fixed mindset saw only a dead end. In practice, you might keep a mindset journal for a week, specifically noting down fixed mindset thoughts related to habits and consciously writing out a growth mindset alternative for each one. A second essential principle is to view effort in habit building as an investment, not an indictment. In a fixed mindset, if something requires a lot of effort, it's often taken as a sign that you're not naturally good at it. This can be incredibly demotivating when trying to build new habits, which almost always require significant upfront effort. A growth mindset, however, understands that effort is the primary mechanism through which skills are developed and new neural pathways are formed. When you find yourself struggling to establish a new routine, or when maintaining it feels hard, remind yourself, this effort is precisely what's changing my brain and building this new capacity. This is the feeling of growth. For example, if you're trying to build a habit of waking up earlier and it feels incredibly difficult for the first few weeks, instead of thinking, I'm not a morning person, reframe it as, my body and mind are adapting. This effort is recalibrating my internal clock and building my discipline. This works because it changes your relationship with the struggle inherent in habit formation. Instead of avoiding effort, you begin to see it as a necessary and even empowering part of the process. This makes you more likely to persist through the initial discomfort zone where most people give up. Thirdly, learn to interpret setbacks and failures in habit formation as valuable feedback, not final verdicts. Everyone stumbles when trying to build new habits. You might miss a day of your planned exercise routine, revert to an old unhealthy eating pattern, or find your new meditation practice faltering. A fixed mindset sees these slips as confirmation of inability. I knew it, I can't do this. This often leads to giving up entirely. A growth mindset, in contrast, views these setbacks as inevitable parts of the learning process and rich sources of data. When you slip up, instead of berating yourself, get curious. Ask, what happened here? What triggered this slip? What can I learn from this experience? What adjustments can I make to my strategy to make it more likely I'll succeed next time? For instance, if you missed your morning workout, a growth-minded analysis might reveal that you stayed up too late the night before, so the learning is to prioritize your bedtime. This transforms failure from a dead end into a course correction. This approach is powerful because it keeps you engaged in the process of improvement, fostering resilience and adaptability, rather than leading to discouragement and abandonment. It ensures that every experience, even a failure, contributes to your ultimate success. Finally, draw inspiration and learn from the growth journeys of others. A fixed mindset can sometimes lead to envy or discouragement when seeing others who have successfully built strong habits, attributing their success to innate talent or luck. A growth mindset, however, sees their success as evidence of what's possible through effort and learning. Seek out stories of people who have overcome challenges to build positive habits. What strategies did they use? What mindset shifts did they make? How did they handle setbacks? Instead of feeling inadequate by comparison, feel inspired and look for actionable lessons. For example, reading a biography of someone who transformed their health through consistent habits can provide not only motivation, but also practical ideas you can adapt. This works because it reinforces the belief that change is possible and provides you with a broader toolkit of strategies. It also helps to normalize the struggle and effort involved, making your own challenges feel less like personal failings and more like universal aspects of the growth process. Consider Sarah, who had tried and failed multiple times to establish a consistent writing habit. She initially believed, I'm just not disciplined enough to be a writer. After learning about the growth mindset, she started challenging this. She reframed her thought to, I am developing the discipline of a writer. She viewed the effort of showing up to write, even when she didn't feel inspired, as building her writing muscle. When she missed a day, instead of giving up, she analyzed why, e.g., I didn't schedule a specific time, and adjusted her plan. She read about successful authors and their writing routines, drawing inspiration and practical tips. Slowly but surely, her writing habit solidified, not because she magically became a disciplined person, but because she cultivated a mindset that embraced the process of becoming one. Embracing the growth mindset is the essential launching pad for crafting unstoppable habits. It imbues you with the resilience, optimism, and strategic thinking necessary to navigate the often challenging path of personal change. It transforms the journey from a test of your fixed abilities into an exciting adventure of continuous development. But what about those old, deeply ingrained habits that seem to fight back with a vengeance every time you try to make a change? Now that you've laid the critical foundation of a growth mindset, empowering you to believe in your capacity for change, are you ready to confront and systematically dismantle those stubborn old habit cycles that may be holding you back from your true potential? The next chapter will equip you with the tools to deconstruct these patterns and break free. Remember to subscribe to Brainpower Blueprint. Give this video a like and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 2. Break Old Habit Cycles. Imagine trying to build a beautiful new garden on a plot of land that is already overrun with tenacious, deep-rooted weeds. No matter how diligently you plant new seeds, those old weeds will constantly compete for sunlight, water, and nutrients, choking out your desired growth. Similarly, as you embark on crafting unstoppable positive habits, you will inevitably encounter the powerful pull of old, ingrained habit cycles. Those automatic behaviors, often unproductive or even detrimental, that seem to operate on autopilot, undermining your best intentions. You might have embraced a growth mindset, believing in your capacity for change, yet find yourself repeatedly falling back into patterns of procrastination, mindless snacking, excessive screen time, or negative self-talk. The problem is that old habits are not just simple actions. They are deeply embedded neural pathways, reinforced over years, often offering some form of immediate, albeit fleeting, comfort or reward. Trying to merely suppress them or ignore them through sheer willpower is often a losing battle, leading to frustration, self-blame, and the disheartening feeling that you're stuck in a loop you can't escape. This makes it incredibly difficult to create space for new, positive habits to take root and flourish. The transformative solution is to become a habit demolition expert, systematically deconstructing your old, unwanted habit cycles to understand their mechanics and neutralize their power, thereby clearing the ground for new, empowering routines to be built. This involves moving beyond simply resisting old habits to dissecting them, identifying their components, the cue, the routine, and the reward, and then strategically intervening to break the chain. The core idea is that once you understand how a habit is constructed and what purpose it serves, even if that purpose is misguided, you can more effectively dismantle it or replace it with a healthier alternative that provides a similar or better reward. The benefits of this approach are profound. You'll feel less like a victim of your ingrained behaviors and more like an empowered agent of change. You'll reduce the frequency and intensity of unwanted actions, free up mental energy previously consumed by battling old habits, and create fertile ground for new, positive patterns to thrive. It's like a skilled engineer carefully disassembling an old, inefficient machine, understanding its workings so it can be replaced with a modern, high-performance model. The first crucial step in breaking old habit cycles is to identify and understand the anatomy of your unwanted habits, the habit loop. Popularized by Charles Duhigg in The Power of Habit, the habit loop consists of 3 parts: the cue, the trigger that tells your brain to go into automatic mode and which habit to use; the routine, the physical, mental, or emotional behavior itself; and the reward, which helps your brain figure out if this particular loop is worth remembering for the future. To break a habit, you must first become a detective of your own behavior. For a specific old habit you want to change, let's say mindless evening snacking, spend a few days observing and journaling. What is the cue? Is it a certain time of day, e.g. after dinner? A particular emotion, e.g. boredom, stress? A specific location, e.g. sitting on the couch watching TV? The presence of certain people, or the preceding action in a chain of behaviors? Then, what is the routine, e.g., going to the kitchen, opening the cupboard, eating chips? Finally, and this often requires some experimentation to pinpoint, what is the reward? Is it the taste of the food, a temporary distraction from boredom, a feeling of comfort, relief from stress? This process of identification works because it makes the unconscious, automatic process of an old habit conscious and observable, which is the prerequisite for changing it. Once you have a clearer understanding of the cue and the potential reward, the next step is to experiment with alternative routines that provide a similar reward. The golden rule of habit change is that you can't easily extinguish an old habit, but you can change the routine while keeping the cue and delivering a similar reward. If your evening snacking cue is boredom and the reward is mental stimulation or distraction, could a different routine provide that? Perhaps reading an engaging book, calling a friend, working on a hobby, or doing a quick puzzle. If the cue is stress and the reward is comfort, could a short meditation, a warm bath, or listening to calming music offer a similar sense of solace? For a few days, when the cue hits, consciously try out a different routine and see if it satisfies the underlying craving or need, the reward. This experimentation is key. For example, if you realize your 3 p.m. urge to grab a sugary snack routine is cued by a dip in energy and the reward is a quick energy boost, you could experiment with a short walk outside, a glass of water, or a piece of fruit instead. This works because you are addressing the underlying need that the old habit was fulfilling, making the new routine more likely to stick because it satisfies the same craving that drove the old behavior. A powerful strategy for weakening old habit cycles is to introduce friction for unwanted behaviors and reduce friction for desired ones. Make it harder to engage in the old habit and easier to engage in your new preferred alternative. If you want to break the habit of mindlessly scrolling social media, you could delete the apps from your phone, creating friction, or set strict time limits. If you want to stop buying unhealthy snacks, don't keep them in the house. Friction for the old habit. Conversely, if you're replacing evening snacking with reading, keep an interesting book readily accessible on your coffee table, reducing friction for the new habit. If you're replacing a sugary drink with water, keep a water bottle filled and visible on your desk. This principle works because our brains are naturally inclined to follow the path of least resistance. By making undesirable habits more inconvenient and desirable ones more convenient, you gently nudge your behavior in the intended direction without solely relying on finite willpower. Another vital technique is to manage cues and develop awareness of your triggers. While you can't always eliminate cues, especially emotional ones, you can often modify your environment or routines to reduce your exposure to them or change your response when they occur. If a certain room in your house is strongly associated with an unwanted habit, try to change the layout of that room or spend less time there when you're vulnerable. If certain people or situations trigger an old habit, you might need to temporarily limit your interaction or mentally prepare yourself with a planned alternative response before encountering them. For example, if seeing the TV remote cue always leads to hours of mindless channel surfing routine, you could try keeping the remote in a drawer in another room. Developing acute awareness of your triggers allows you to anticipate them and consciously choose a different path before the old automatic routine kicks in. This is effective because it intercepts the habit loop at its very beginning, before the old behavior gains momentum. Consider Mark, who had a deeply ingrained habit of hitting the snooze button multiple times each morning, routine, cued by his alarm clock going off, cue, with the reward being a few more minutes of perceived comfort and avoidance of starting the day. This often made him late and stressed. He identified the loop. He then experimented with a new routine. When the alarm cue went off, he would immediately sit up, put his feet on the floor, and drink a glass of water he'd placed by his bed the night before. The reward he was seeking from snoozing was a gentle transition into wakefulness. He found that the water and the act of sitting up actually provided a more refreshing start. To add friction to the old habit, he moved his alarm clock across the room, forcing him to physically get out of bed to turn it off. This combination of understanding the loop, finding an alternative routine for a similar reward, and creating friction for the old behavior helped him break a cycle that had plagued him for years. Breaking old habit cycles is rarely a one-time event. It's a process of diligent deconstruction, experimentation, and strategic intervention. It requires patience and self-compassion, especially when you slip up. But each time you successfully interrupt an old loop and choose a more conscious response, you weaken the old neural pathway and strengthen your capacity for intentional action. This clears the way, making it far easier to build the new life you envision. But once the old ground is cleared, how do you thoughtfully design the new structures, the new habits that will form the blueprint of your desired daily life? Now that you're equipped with the strategies to deconstruct and break free from old, unwanted habit cycles, are you ready to learn how to thoughtfully design and lay the foundation for new, powerful routines that will serve as the very architecture of your most effective and fulfilling days? The next chapter will guide you through creating your personalized daily blueprint. Remember to subscribe to Brainpower Blueprint. Give this video a like and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 3. Design your daily blueprint. Imagine an architect preparing to construct a magnificent building. They wouldn't simply start laying bricks randomly and hope for the best. Instead, they would meticulously create a detailed blueprint, a precise plan outlining every aspect of the structure, ensuring its stability, functionality, and beauty. Similarly, if you wish to build a life powered by unstoppable habits, you can't just vaguely hope for change. You need to consciously design your daily blueprint, creating a clear and actionable plan for the new routines you intend to cultivate. Having embraced a growth mindset and learned to break old habit cycles, you've cleared the essential groundwork. Now comes the exciting phase of intentional construction. The problem many people face at this stage is a lack of specificity and strategy in forming new habits. They might have good intentions. I want to exercise more. I should read more books. I need to be more productive. But these vague desires often fail to translate into consistent action. Without a clear design, efforts can feel scattered, progress can be hard to track, and overwhelm can easily set in, leading to a return to old, familiar patterns. It's like having all the best building materials but no coherent plan to assemble them into the structure you envision. The transformative solution is to become the architect of your daily action, thoughtfully and strategically designing the specific habits you want to integrate into your life, making them so clear, accessible, and well integrated that they seamlessly become part of your daily rhythm. This involves moving from wishful thinking to deliberate planning, considering not just what habits you want to build, but precisely how, when, and where they will fit into your existing life. The core idea is that well-designed habits are far easier to implement and sustain than those adopted haphazardly. By creating a detailed blueprint for your desired routines, you dramatically increase your chances of success, reduce reliance on fleeting motivation or willpower, and build momentum more effectively. The benefits are a greater sense of control over your days, consistent progress towards your goals, reduced decision fatigue as positive actions become more automatic, and the satisfaction of seeing your desired life take shape, one intentionally designed habit at a time. It's the difference between a haphazardly assembled shack and a beautifully architected home, built to last and to serve your highest needs. The foundational principle in designing your daily blueprint is to start incredibly small. Embrace micro habits. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to implement too many big changes all at once, which quickly leads to overwhelm and abandonment. Instead, break down your desired new habit into its smallest possible iteration, something so easy you almost can't say no to it. If you want to build a habit of daily meditation, start with just 1 minute. If you want to exercise more, start with 5 minutes of walking or 2 push-ups. If you want to read more, start with 1 page a day. This approach, often called micro habits or tiny habits, works because it bypasses the brain's natural resistance to large, intimidating changes. It makes the initial step feel effortless, which builds consistency. Once the micro habit is established and feels automatic, you can gradually increase its duration or intensity. For example, That 1 minute of meditation can become 2, then 5, then 10, as the underlying routine becomes ingrained. This makes the process feel manageable and builds a sense of accomplishment from day one. A powerful strategy for integrating new habits is habit stacking, a concept popularized by James Clear. This involves linking your desired new habit to an existing habit that you already perform consistently each day. The formula is after before, current habit, I will new habit. For example, after I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute. Or, before I get into bed, I will read 1 page of a book. Or, after I finish brushing my teeth, I will do 2 push-ups. This works because your existing habits are already strongly wired into your brain, and they can act as powerful cues or triggers for the new behavior, making it easier to remember and implement. It leverages existing momentum. When designing your blueprint, look for established routines in your day. Your morning coffee, your commute, your lunch break, your evening wind down, and identify where you can effectively stack a new micro-habit. Equally important is environment design to support your new habits. Your physical and social environment plays a huge role in shaping your behavior, often more than you realize. Consciously design your surroundings to make your desired habits easier and more obvious, and your undesired habits harder and less visible. If you want to drink more water, keep a water bottle on your desk at all times. If you want to eat healthier, stock your fridge with healthy options and keep unhealthy snacks out of sight or out of the house. If you want to practice guitar daily, leave your guitar on a stand in a visible location, not packed away in its case. If your goal is to reduce screen time in the evening, you might designate a charging station for your phone outside your bedroom. This principle works because it uses external cues and friction, or lack thereof, to nudge your behavior in the desired direction. You're making the preferred choice the easiest choice. This is often far more effective than relying solely on internal willpower. To ensure your new habits actually get done, be explicit and schedule them. Vague intentions like, "I'll exercise more this week," are rarely effective. Instead, define your new habit with utmost clarity. Specify exactly what you will do, when you will do it, and where you will do it. For instance, instead of exercise more, your plan might be, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I will go for a 30-minute walk in my neighborhood immediately after I finish work, around 5:30 p.m. Then, schedule this habit into your calendar, just like you would an important appointment. This works because it removes ambiguity and decision fatigue. When the time comes, you don't have to decide if or what to do. The decision has already been made. This commitment device significantly increases the likelihood of follow-through. Your daily blueprint should ideally have specific slots for your key habits. Consider Maria, who wanted to build a habit of daily journaling to improve her self-reflection, but always found herself too busy or forgetting. She started by designing a micro-habit. After I finish my morning tea, existing habit Q, I will write just 1 sentence in my journal, new micro-habit. She designed her environment by placing her journal and a pen on her kitchen table next to her teacup the night before. She scheduled it implicitly by linking it to her tea. After a week of consistently writing 1 sentence, it felt easy, so she gradually increased it to a few sentences, then a paragraph, eventually finding a natural rhythm. Or take John, who wanted to learn a new language for his career but struggled to find the time. He used habit stacking. During my 30-minute train commute to work, existing habit Q, I will complete 1 lesson on my language learning app, New Habit. He made this easier by downloading the lessons beforehand and keeping his headphones in his bag. He scheduled it by making it his default commute activity. This clear design turned a vague aspiration into a consistent daily practice. Designing your daily blueprint is an act of proactive self-creation. It's about moving from passively wishing for change to actively engineering the daily routines that will inevitably lead to that change. It requires thoughtfulness and a willingness to experiment and adjust. But the reward is a life where positive actions become increasingly automatic and aligned with your deepest values. But how do you ensure these carefully designed habits truly stick, becoming not just actions you perform, but reflections of who you are becoming? Now that you've learned how to architect your daily actions with precision, how do you connect these new behaviors so deeply to your sense of self that they become virtually unshakable, transforming from mere routines into true expressions of your identity? The next chapter will explore the powerful strategy of anchoring your identity with action. Remember to subscribe to Brainpower Blueprint, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 4. Anchor Identity with Action. Imagine a ship in a stormy sea. Without a strong anchor firmly embedded in the seabed, it will be tossed about by the waves and currents, drifting far from its intended course. Similarly, when building new habits, even those meticulously designed into your daily blueprint, they can feel superficial or easily abandoned if they are not deeply anchored to something more substantial within you, your sense of identity. You might embrace a growth mindset, break old cycles, and design new routines, yet find that these new behaviors feel like a costume you're wearing rather than an authentic expression of who you are. The problem many people encounter is that their new habits, however well-intentioned, remain disconnected from their core self-concept. They might be doing the actions of a healthy person or a productive individual, but they don't yet fully see themselves as that person. This disconnect creates an internal tension. When motivation wanes or challenges arise, it's easy to revert to behaviors that align with the old, more familiar identity, because those actions feel more natural or true to self. This is why simply forcing behavioral change without addressing underlying identity can often lead to temporary compliance rather than lasting transformation. The new habits lack deep roots. The transformative solution is to consciously engage in identity-based habit formation, a powerful approach where you focus not just on what you want to do, but on who you want to become, and then choose and cultivate habits that act as votes for that desired identity. This means shifting your focus from outcome-based habits, I want to lose 20 pounds, or even process-based habits, I will exercise for 30 minutes, to identity-based habits, I am becoming a healthy and energetic person, and healthy people move their bodies regularly. The core idea, popularized by James Clear in Atomic Habits, is that true behavior change is identity change. When your habits become intertwined with your identity, they are no longer just actions you perform, they are expressions of who you are. The motivation to maintain them becomes intrinsic and far more powerful. The benefits are profound. Your habits become more meaningful and sustainable. Your internal resistance lessens because your actions align with your self-concept, and you experience a powerful sense of authenticity and integrity as your daily behaviors consistently reinforce the person you aspire to be. It's like the ship whose anchor is so deeply set that it remains steadfast and on course, no matter how turbulent the surrounding waters become. The first essential step in anchoring identity with action is to clearly define your desired identity or identities. This isn't about creating a false persona, but about consciously choosing the kind of person you wish to embody in different areas of your life. Ask yourself, who do I want to become? What qualities define this ideal version of myself? For example, instead of just wanting to write a book, an outcome, your desired identity might be, I am a disciplined and insightful writer. Instead of wanting to get in shape, your identity might be, I am an energetic and healthy individual who values my physical well-being. Be specific. You might have several desired identities, a lifelong learner, a compassionate leader, a patient parent, a creative artist. Write these identity statements down in the present tense as if they are already true or in the process of becoming true. For example, I am the type of person who prioritizes learning every day. This works because a clearly defined identity provides a powerful internal compass that guides your choices and actions. It gives your habits a deeper purpose beyond the immediate task. Once you have defined your desired identity, the next step is to choose habits that act as evidence for that identity. For each identity you wish to cultivate, ask, what would a person with this identity do on a daily or weekly basis? What small actions would they consistently take? The habits you choose should be direct proof that you are indeed that kind of person. If your identity is, I am a thoughtful and organized professional, A corresponding habit might be, every evening I will spend 10 minutes planning my tasks for the next day. If your identity is, I am a mindful and present partner, a habit might be, every day I will dedicate 15 minutes of uninterrupted, focused conversation with my partner. The key is that each time you perform the habit, you are casting a vote for that identity. For example, every time you choose a healthy meal, you are casting a vote for, I am a healthy person. This process works because your brain is constantly seeking to align your actions with your self-concept. By consistently performing actions that embody your desired identity, you gradually reshape that self-concept. A crucial element in this process is to focus on small wins as identity reinforcement. Don't try to overhaul your entire identity overnight. Start with small, manageable habits that provide quick, tangible evidence of your new identity. Each time you successfully complete one of these small habits, consciously acknowledge it as a win and connect it back to your desired identity. Say to yourself, I just performed the habit, and that's what a desired identity does. For instance, if you meditate for just 2 minutes and your desired identity is, I am a calm and centered person, tell yourself, I just meditated. That's a step towards being calm and centered. These small wins, consistently acknowledged, build belief in your new identity. They provide the proof your brain needs to start accepting this new self-concept as reality. This is effective because it creates a positive feedback loop. Action reinforces identity, and a stronger identity makes further action easier and more natural. It builds momentum through tangible evidence. Furthermore, align your self-talk and internal narratives with your desired identity. The stories you tell yourself about who you are have a profound impact on your behavior. Pay attention to your inner dialogue. Does it support the identity you're trying to build, or does it undermine it with old, limiting narratives? If you want to become a confident public speaker, but your internal self-talk is, I'm terrible at speaking, I always mess up, there's a clear misalignment. Consciously reframe this self-talk to align with your desired identity. For example, I am developing my skills as a confident and engaging public speaker. Each opportunity to speak is a chance to learn and improve. You can use affirmations that reflect your desired identity, such as, I am resourceful and capable of overcoming challenges. This works because your self-talk shapes your beliefs, and your beliefs drive your actions. By consciously curating an internal dialogue that supports your chosen identity, you create a more congruent and empowering inner environment for your habits to flourish. Consider David, who wanted to improve his financial situation. His outcome goal was to save more money, but he struggled. He then shifted to an identity-based approach. His new identity was, I am a financially responsible person who makes smart decisions with my money. He then asked, what does a financially responsible person do? He identified habits like tracking expenses daily, creating a monthly budget, automatically transferring a portion of his income to savings, and reading articles about personal finance. Each time he tracked his expenses or made a conscious spending decision, he told himself, this is what a financially responsible person does. This shift from focusing on the outcome, saving money, to embodying the identity, being financially responsible, made the habits feel more meaningful and easier to sustain, eventually leading to his desired financial improvements. Or think of Linda, who wanted to be less reactive and more patient as a parent. Her desired identity was, I am a calm and patient mother. Her habits included pausing for 3 deep breaths before responding to her child's challenging behavior and dedicating daily one-on-one playtime. Each successful pause and each moment of connection reinforced her identity as a patient mother, making those behaviors more automatic over time. Anchoring your identity with action transforms habit building from a chore into a journey of self-actualization. It makes your daily routines powerful affirmations of who you are choosing to become, creating an unstoppable synergy between your actions and your evolving self. This deep internal alignment is key to making your habits truly last. But even with a strong identity anchor, how do you create systems that make these positive actions almost effortless, automating your success? Now that you understand how to anchor your new habits to a powerful, evolving identity, Are you ready to discover how to build intelligent systems around these habits that will make their execution almost automatic, virtually guaranteeing your progress? The next chapter delves into automating your success through effective systems. Remember to subscribe to Brainpower Blueprint, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 5. Automate Success with Systems. Imagine a sophisticated automated factory where complex processes run smoothly and efficiently, day in and day out, producing consistent, high-quality results with minimal ongoing intervention. The secret isn't constant manual effort, but brilliantly designed systems. Now apply this concept to your personal habits. You've embraced a growth mindset, started breaking old cycles, designed a daily blueprint, and even anchored your new actions to your identity. Yet you might still find that consistently executing these habits relies heavily on your daily willpower, memory, and conscious effort. The problem many face is that even well-designed habits can falter if they depend solely on our often finite mental resources. Life gets busy, distractions arise, motivation ebbs and flows, and without robust systems in place, even the best intentions can fall by the wayside. Your carefully crafted habits might feel like a constant juggling act, rather than an integrated, almost effortless part of your life. This reliance on moment-to-moment decision-making to perform your routines is inefficient and makes your hard-won progress vulnerable, especially when you're tired, stressed, or overwhelmed. You haven't yet fully leveraged the power of automation in your personal life. The transformative solution is to become a habit automation engineer, consciously designing and implementing intelligent systems around your desired habits to make their execution as effortless, consistent, and reliable as possible. This means going beyond merely deciding to do a habit to creating a supportive infrastructure that ensures the habit practically runs itself. The core idea is that by building effective systems, you reduce the friction associated with performing your habits, minimize your reliance on willpower and memory, and make positive behaviors the default, easiest option. The benefits are a dramatic increase in habit consistency, a significant reduction in the mental energy required to maintain your routines, greater resilience against disruptions, and the ability to sustain more positive habits simultaneously without burnout. You essentially put your personal growth on a form of autopilot, freeing up your conscious mind for higher-level thinking and creative pursuits, while your foundational habits ensure continuous progress. It's like setting up a series of well-oiled machines that work diligently in the background, ensuring your daily success. The first principle of automating success is to leverage technology and simple tools as your system allies. In the digital age, we have access to a vast array of tools that can help automate reminders, track progress, and simplify the execution of habits. Use calendar apps to schedule your habits as non-negotiable appointments, complete with alerts. Utilize reminder apps or dedicated habit tracking apps to prompt you at the right time and to give you the satisfaction of checking off completed actions. For habits like learning or meditation, specific apps can provide structured content and track your consistency. Even simple analog tools like a prominently placed checklist for your morning routine or a whiteboard tracking your weekly goals can act as powerful systemic cues. For example, if you want to ensure you drink enough water, an app can remind you hourly, or a smart water bottle can track your intake. If you have a habit of daily reading, set a recurring daily alarm labeled reading time. This works because these tools offload the cognitive burden of remembering and initiating habits, acting as an external executive function that keeps you on track. Another key strategy is batching similar habits and creating standard operating procedures, SOPs, for your routines. Batching involves grouping similar tasks or habits together to be performed in one dedicated block of time, which increases efficiency and reduces the mental startup cost for each individual item. For instance, instead of handling emails sporadically throughout the day, you might batch email processing into 2 or 3 specific time slots. Similarly, you could batch all your meal prepping for the week into a few hours on a Sunday. Creating simple SOPs or checklists for your routines can also automate them by removing guesswork. For your morning routine, you might have a written or mental checklist. 1. Wake up. 2. Drink water. 3. Meditate 10 minutes. 4. Quick stretch. 5. Review day's priorities. This standardization works because it creates a predictable, efficient flow, reducing decision fatigue and ensuring all components of a routine are completed consistently. It turns a series of potentially forgotten steps into a smooth, almost automatic sequence. Implementing if-then plans. Implementation intentions for contingencies and habit execution is crucial for robust systems. An if-then plan specifies in advance how you will respond to a particular situation or cue. For habit execution, it looks like, if situation X occurs, then I will perform habit Y. For example, if it's 7 a.m. on a weekday, then I will put on my workout clothes. For contingencies, when your normal routine is disrupted, it looks like, if obstacle Z happens, then I will do alternative habit action. For example, if I miss my morning workout because of an early meeting, then I will do a 20-minute walk during my lunch break. This proactive planning works because it preloads your decisions. When the if situation arises, your brain already knows the then response, making you far more likely to follow through without deliberation or relying on in-the-moment willpower, especially when you are stressed or tired. This is a powerful way to automate your responses to both regular cues and unexpected disruptions. A vital component of any successful system is the inclusion of feedback loops for monitoring, adjustment, and reinforcement. Your habit systems shouldn't be static. They need to be dynamic and responsive. Regularly review how well your systems are working. Are you consistently performing your habits? Are there points of friction or failure? Use a habit tracker, digital or analog, not just as a reminder, but as a data collection tool. At the end of each week or month, look at your consistency. If you're struggling with a particular habit, your system needs adjustment. Perhaps the habit is still too big, the cue isn't effective, or the environment isn't supportive enough. For reinforcement, ensure your system provides some form of reward or acknowledgement for consistency. This could be the inherent satisfaction of seeing a streak on your tracker, a small pre-planned treat after a week of consistency, or simply acknowledging your progress. This works because feedback allows for continuous improvement of your systems, ensuring they remain effective and motivating over time. It turns your habit journey into an iterative process of refinement. Consider Maria, who wanted to consistently write for her blog, but often found herself overwhelmed or forgetting. She engineered a system. 1. Technology. She set a recurring daily calendar event for blog writing hour with a 15-minute prior alert. 2. Batching SOAP. She batched her content creation. Mondays for brainstorming, outlining, Tuesdays and Wednesdays for drafting, Thursdays for editing. Her SOP for drafting included open writing software, set a timer for 60 minutes, write without editing. If it's 9 a.m. on Tuesday, then I will open my draft and write. Contingency. If I miss my 9 a.m. slot, then I will write for 30 minutes immediately after dinner. 4. Feedback loop. She used a simple spreadsheet to track her daily word count and reviewed it weekly. Seeing her progress, reward motivated her, and if her word count dipped, she'd analyze why and adjust her system, e.g. maybe her outlining on Monday wasn't thorough enough. This system automated much of the decision-making and effort, making her a prolific and consistent blogger. Automating success with systems is about intelligently designing your life so that positive behaviors are the path of least resistance. It's about working smarter, not just harder, by creating an infrastructure that supports your growth and makes your daily power an almost inevitable outcome. But what happens when, despite these brilliant systems, you encounter that familiar internal drag, that feeling of, I just don't want to? Now that you've learned to engineer systems that make your desired habits almost automatic, how do you deal with those inevitable moments of internal friction, procrastination, or the sheer lack of desire that can still threaten to derail your progress? The next chapter will equip you with strategies to overcome resistance with profound clarity. Remember to subscribe to Brainpower Blueprint, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 6. Overcome Resistance with Clarity. Imagine a powerful river flowing towards the sea. Its journey is largely unimpeded due to its immense volume and momentum. However, occasionally it encounters large boulders or dense thickets that create significant resistance, slowing its progress or even threatening to divert its course. Similarly, in your journey of crafting unstoppable habits, even with a growth mindset, well-broken old cycles, a meticulously designed daily blueprint, habits anchored to your identity, and automated systems in place, you will inevitably encounter internal resistance. This resistance can manifest as procrastination, a sudden feeling of being overwhelmed by a habit, the pervasive "I just don't feel like it" syndrome, or endless internal negotiations that try to rationalize skipping your planned routine. The problem is that this internal friction, if not skillfully managed, can erode your motivation, break your consistency, and lead to feelings of frustration and self-doubt, ultimately jeopardizing the very habits you've worked so hard to establish. It's that moment when the knowing what to do crashes headfirst into the not feeling like doing it, and the latter often wins if you're not prepared. The transformative solution is to cultivate clarity-fueled persistence, learning to navigate and dissolve these moments of internal resistance, not by brute force or willpower alone, but by illuminating them with profound clarity regarding your motivations, the true cost of inaction, and the emotional landscape of your reluctance. This means understanding the why behind your resistance and countering it with an even more compelling why for sticking to your habit, coupled with practical strategies to make starting easier. The core idea is that resistance often thrives in ambiguity and emotional fog. By bringing sharp clarity to the benefits of your habits, the consequences of skipping them, and the transient nature of discomfort, you significantly weaken resistance's grip. The benefits are a greater ability to push through momentary reluctance, increased consistency in your habits even when motivation is low, a deeper understanding of your own psychological triggers, and the empowering realization that feelings don't have to dictate your actions. You become like a skilled navigator who uses a clear map and compass, your clarity, to steer through foggy patches or around obstacles, ensuring the river of your progress continues its journey to the sea. A foundational strategy for overcoming resistance is the 2-minute rule, as advocated by David Allen and later James Clear. When you feel resistance towards a habit, particularly one that seems daunting or time-consuming, commit to doing just the first 2 minutes of it. Want to go for a 30-minute run but don't feel like it? Just put on your running shoes and step outside for 2 minutes. Need to work on a big report? Just open the document and write for 2 minutes. Want to meditate for 20 minutes? Just sit and focus on your breath for 2 minutes. More often than not, starting is the hardest part. Once you've begun and overcome that initial inertia, it's much easier to continue. And even if you only do the 2 minutes, you've still reinforced the habit of showing up, which is a win in itself. This works because it makes the perceived barrier to entry incredibly low, bypassing the overwhelm that often fuels resistance. It focuses on initiating the behavior, which is often the biggest hurdle. Next, bring crystal clarity to the immediate benefits of doing the habit versus the true cost of skipping it. Resistance often magnifies the perceived discomfort of doing the habit and minimizes the long-term benefits, while simultaneously highlighting the immediate comfort of avoiding it. Counter this by vividly reminding yourself, in that moment of resistance, of the specific, immediate positive outcomes of performing the habit. For example, if you're resisting exercise, focus on how energized and clear-headed you'll feel immediately afterward, not just the distant goal of better health. Conversely, clearly articulate to yourself the subtle but real costs of consistently skipping this habit. Not just the big future consequences, but how it will make you feel about yourself right now or later today if you give in to resistance. For instance, if I skip this writing session, I'll feel disappointed in myself and further behind on my goals later, which will create more stress. This works because it shifts the immediate motivational calculus. By making the benefits of action and the costs of inaction more salient and immediate, you provide your brain with stronger reasons to overcome the temporary discomfort. A powerful technique is to practice emotional reframing of discomfort and productive discomfort tolerance. Often resistance stems from a desire to avoid uncomfortable feelings, boredom, frustration, fatigue, the slight strain of effort. Recognize that these feelings are usually temporary and are often signals of growth or that you're doing something meaningful. Instead of labeling the feeling as bad and trying to escape it, reframe it. For example, if you feel restless while trying to meditate, reframe it as, my mind is learning to settle. If you feel the strain of a difficult workout, reframe it as, this is the feeling of my body getting stronger. Actively practice productive discomfort tolerance by consciously leaning into these feelings for a short period, knowing they will pass and are part of the process of building something worthwhile. This works because it changes your relationship with discomfort. Instead of seeing it as a stop sign, you see it as a stepping stone, an integral part of the journey towards your goals. This builds mental toughness and resilience. Another effective strategy is temptation bundling, a concept from behavioral economics. This involves pairing an action you want to do, something enjoyable, with an action you need to do, a habit you often resist. The enjoyable activity acts as an immediate reward or motivator for performing the less appealing habit. For example, I will only listen to my favorite podcast, want to do, while I am doing my weekly meal prep, need to do. Or, I will only watch my favorite streaming show, want to do, while I am on the treadmill, need to do. This works because it links an immediate positive reinforcement directly to the habit you're trying to build, making the habit itself more attractive by association. It leverages something you already enjoy to pull you through the resistance associated with a less enjoyable but important task. Crucially, practice self-compassion, when resistance occasionally wins a battle but not the war. There will be times when, despite your best efforts and clarity, resistance gets the upper hand and you skip a habit. In these moments, avoid falling into the trap of harsh self-criticism. I'm such a failure, I'll never get this right, which only fuels future resistance and can lead to giving up altogether. Instead, practice self-compassion. Acknowledge that you're human, that slip-ups happen as part of the learning process. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a friend in a similar situation. Then, without dwelling on it, recommit to getting back on track with your next scheduled opportunity to perform the habit. Okay, I missed my workout today. That's not ideal, but I'll make sure to get to the one scheduled for tomorrow. This works because self-compassion breaks the cycle of shame and discouragement that often follows a lapse, making it easier to rebound quickly and maintain long-term consistency. It preserves your motivation and your belief in your ability to eventually succeed. Consider Alex, who consistently felt resistance towards his habit of daily networking outreach for his business. The task felt daunting and uncomfortable. He applied the 2-minute rule. I'll just research and draft one outreach email in 2 minutes. Often, this got him started and he'd continue for longer. He clarified the benefits. Each outreach, even if it doesn't lead to an immediate result, builds my network, increases visibility, and makes me feel proactive about my business growth. Skipping it makes me feel stagnant. He reframed the discomfort of potential rejection as practicing resilience and improving my communication skills. He even bundled the temptation by allowing himself to listen to an engaging business podcast only during his networking outreach time. When he had a day where resistance was too strong and he skipped it, he'd acknowledge it without judgment and ensure he did it the next day. This multi-layered clarity helped him overcome a significant bottleneck to his business growth. Overcoming resistance with clarity is about skillfully navigating your inner landscape, using understanding and strategic thinking to gently but firmly guide yourself back to your intended path. It's about recognizing that feelings of resistance are normal, but they don't have to be dictators of your actions when your why is clear enough. But once you have consistency, how do you ensure your habits don't just become mundane routines, but pathways to ever greater skill and achievement? Having developed the clarity to push through resistance and maintain consistency, how do you now elevate your habits from mere routines to dynamic engines of continuous improvement and mastery, ensuring your daily power constantly evolves and expands? The next chapter explores how to sustain momentum through the pursuit of mastery. Remember to subscribe to Brainpower Blueprint, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 7. Sustain momentum through mastery. Imagine a musician who diligently practices their scales every day. This consistent habit builds foundational skill. But if they only ever practice scales, without ever attempting more complex pieces, exploring different techniques, or striving for greater expression, their growth will eventually stagnate. Their initial momentum might fade as the routine becomes mundane. Similarly, in your journey of crafting unstoppable habits, once you've achieved a level of consistency, there's a risk of plateauing. You might be performing your daily habits reliably, but are they still challenging you, stretching your abilities, and leading to ongoing development? The problem many encounter after establishing habits is that these routines can become stale or feel like they're just part of a maintenance checklist rather than an active path of growth. The initial excitement of building the habit fades, and without a clear way to progress or deepen engagement, momentum can be lost, and the habit may even become vulnerable to abandonment. Simply maintaining a habit is good, but sustaining enthusiasm and forward progress requires a shift towards continuous improvement and the pursuit of mastery within those habits. The transformative solution is to embrace the path of continuous habit evolution, transforming your established habits from static routines into dynamic platforms for ongoing skill development, deeper engagement, and the pursuit of mastery. This means viewing your habits not as fixed endpoints, but as starting points for ever-increasing competence and sophistication in areas that matter to you. The core idea is that habits, once established, can become the framework within which you apply principles of deliberate practice and progressively challenge yourself, ensuring that your daily power is not just maintained, but consistently amplified. The benefits are renewed motivation, a deeper sense of satisfaction and purpose from your routines, the continuous development of valuable skills, and the ability to leverage your habits for increasingly significant achievements. It's like the musician who uses their foundational scale practice as a springboard to tackle challenging concertos, constantly refining their technique and artistry, ensuring their passion and skill continue to grow. The first principle in sustaining momentum through mastery is to integrate deliberate practice within your habits. Deliberate practice, a concept highlighted by Anders Ericsson, involves more than just mindless repetition. It's about focused, intentional effort aimed at improving a specific aspect of performance, often by operating at the edge of your current abilities and incorporating feedback. Once a basic habit is established, e.g. writing 500 words a day, look for ways to apply deliberate practice. Instead of just hitting the word count, you might focus 1 week on improving your sentence structure, another on using more vivid imagery, or another on mastering a specific storytelling technique. If your habit is daily exercise, you might focus on improving your form in a particular exercise, gradually increasing resistance or duration, or learning a more advanced variation. This requires identifying specific sub-skills within your habit and consciously working to improve them. This works because it keeps the habit challenging and engaging, pushing you beyond your comfort zone and leading to tangible improvements in skill, which is inherently motivating. A complementary strategy is to set progressively challenging goals related to your habits. While the initial goal might have been simply to establish the habit, e.g., meditate for 5 minutes daily, once that's achieved, set new, slightly more ambitious goals to keep yourself stretching. If you successfully meditate for 5 minutes daily for a month, your next goal might be 10 minutes, or to maintain focus for longer periods within those 5 minutes. If your habit is reading daily, your next goal might be to read a certain number of books in a more challenging genre, or to write a summary and key takeaways for each book you finish. These progressive goals should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, SMART. For example, someone with a running habit might progress from running 3 miles 3 times a week to training for a 5K race, then a 10K, then a half marathon. This works because it provides a clear direction for your efforts, creates a sense of ongoing accomplishment as you reach new milestones, and ensures that your habit continues to serve your growth, rather than just maintaining the status quo. To fuel this pursuit of mastery, actively seek feedback on your habit-related performance and be open to iteration. Feedback is crucial for identifying areas for improvement that you might not see on your own. If your habit is related to a skill like writing, public speaking, coding, or playing a musical instrument, seek constructive criticism from mentors, peers, or coaches. If your habit is fitness-related, a trainer or even a workout buddy can offer feedback on your form. Even for more personal habits like journaling or meditation, reflecting on your experience and perhaps reading expert guidance can provide a form of feedback. Be open to this feedback and use it to iterate on your approach. Perhaps your current technique isn't the most effective, or there's a more efficient way to achieve your desired outcome. This iterative process of action, feedback, and adjustment is at the heart of mastery. This works because external perspectives can illuminate blind spots and accelerate your learning curve, preventing you from ingraining suboptimal techniques. Another way to sustain momentum and deepen engagement is to find novelty and introduce strategic variation within your established routines. While consistency is key for habit formation, rigid monotony can lead to boredom and demotivation over the long term. Once a habit is deeply ingrained, look for ways to introduce novelty or slight variations to keep it fresh and interesting without disrupting the core routine too much. If your habit is daily walking, you might explore new routes, listen to different podcasts or audiobooks during your walk, or occasionally walk with a friend. If your habit is cooking healthy meals, you might challenge yourself to try one new healthy recipe each week. This doesn't mean constantly changing your core habits, but rather finding ways to enrich the experience of performing them. This is effective because the human brain is stimulated by novelty. Strategic variation can prevent your habits from feeling like a grind and can spark new insights or enjoyment, thereby reinforcing your commitment. Finally, regularly reflect on your progress and celebrate mastery milestones. Take time periodically, e.g. monthly or quarterly, to look back at how far you've come with a particular habit or skill it supports. Acknowledge the effort you've put in and the progress you've made. When you reach a significant new level of competence or achieve one of your progressively challenging goals, celebrate that milestone in a meaningful way. This act of reflection and celebration reinforces your sense of competence and accomplishment, fueling your motivation to continue on the path of mastery. For instance, after successfully completing a challenging online course as part of your daily learning habit, you might treat yourself to a special outing or a new book related to your next learning goal. This works because it provides positive reinforcement and acknowledges the journey, making the continued pursuit of mastery feel rewarding and sustainable. Consider Jenna, who established a habit of practicing yoga daily for 20 minutes using online videos. After a few months, while consistent, she felt her progress plateau. To sustain momentum through mastery, she started applying deliberate practice by focusing 1 week on improving her balance poses, another on deepening her stretches. She set a progressive goal to be able to hold a challenging pose for a longer duration. She sought feedback by attending an in-person workshop and getting adjustments from an instructor. She introduced novelty by trying different styles of yoga videos. When she finally mastered a pose she'd been working on for months, she celebrated by investing in a new, high-quality yoga mat. This approach transformed her daily yoga from a routine into an ongoing journey of skill development and enjoyment. Sustaining momentum through mastery ensures that your daily habits are not just actions you perform, but avenues for continuous growth, learning, and profound satisfaction. It turns the daily grind into a daily gain, keeping your inner fire for improvement burning brightly. But how do you weave all these principles, growth mindset, habit design, identity, systems, overcoming resistance, and pursuing mastery, into a cohesive way of life that embodies true daily power? Having established consistent habits and embarked on the path of mastery within them, how do you now integrate this entire framework into a holistic and enduring way of life? ensuring that your daily power becomes a defining characteristic of who you are and how you achieve lasting fulfillment and impact. The final chapter will explore how to truly live with daily, unstoppable power. Remember to subscribe to Brainpower Blueprint, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 8. Live with Daily Power. Imagine a master conductor leading a grand orchestra. Each musician is skilled, each instrument is finely tuned, and each section plays its part with precision. The conductor's role is not just to ensure individual excellence, but to harmonize all these elements into a breathtaking, unified performance that resonates with power and purpose. Similarly, your journey through this book has equipped you with a range of powerful principles and strategies, from embracing a growth mindset and meticulously crafting habits to anchoring them in your identity, automating them with systems, overcoming resistance, and pursuing mastery. The ultimate aspiration now is to conduct these elements harmoniously, not as isolated techniques, but as an integrated way of living that embodies true daily power. The problem that can arise, even after successfully implementing many of these strategies, is fragmentation, viewing these as separate tools rather than components of a holistic lifestyle. Or perhaps there's a sense that this is a temporary project of self-improvement rather than a permanent shift in how you approach life. Without conscious integration and a commitment to living these principles holistically, the immense synergistic power of your newly crafted habits might not be fully realized, and the daily power might not become the enduring force for lifelong growth and achievement it's meant to be. The transformative solution is to embrace embodied daily empowerment, a way of life where the conscious and consistent application of all your habit-building wisdom becomes a natural and integral part of who you are and how you navigate your existence, leading to sustained personal growth, meaningful achievement, and profound well-being. This means moving beyond merely doing habits to being a person whose daily actions are a consistent expression of their highest potential and deepest values. The core idea is that daily power is not just about the individual habits themselves, but about the underlying mindset and the overarching system of self-mastery you've cultivated. It's about living with intentionality, resilience, and a continuous drive for improvement, fueled by the reliable engine of your well-crafted daily routines. The benefits are a life characterized by a deep sense of agency, the consistent ability to achieve what matters most to you, the resilience to navigate life's inevitable challenges with grace, and a continuous upward spiral of growth and contribution. It's the difference between having a collection of powerful tools and being a master craftsperson who skillfully uses those tools in concert to create a life of extraordinary impact and fulfillment. A fundamental aspect of living with daily power is to regularly review, reflect, and refine your habit ecosystem. Life is dynamic. Your circumstances, priorities, and even your identity will evolve over time. Therefore, your habits and the systems that support them should not be set in stone. Schedule periodic reviews, perhaps monthly or quarterly, to assess your current habits. Are they still serving your goals and values? Are they aligned with the person you are becoming? Are there any habits that have become outdated or less effective? Are there new habits you need to cultivate to support your evolving aspirations? This process of reflection might involve journaling or a simple self-assessment. For example, a daily habit that was crucial when you were starting a new business might need to be adjusted once the business is established and your role changes. This works because it ensures your daily power remains relevant and optimized for your current reality, preventing your routines from becoming rigid or misaligned with your ongoing growth. Furthermore, actively apply your habit-building principles to new and diverse areas of your life. The skills you've developed in crafting unstoppable habits are transferable. Don't confine them to just one or two areas like exercise or productivity. Look for opportunities to apply these principles to enhance your relationships, e.g., building a habit of daily appreciation or active listening, your financial well-being, e.g., habits of saving, investing, or mindful spending, your continuous learning, e.g., habits for reading, skill acquisition, or language learning, or even your rest and rejuvenation, e.g. habits for digital detox or quality sleep. For instance, you could use the principles of micro-habits and habit stacking to build a routine for strengthening your professional network or for dedicating quality time to your family. This works because it leverages your proven habit-building capabilities to create positive change across the full spectrum of your life, leading to more holistic well-being and success. It transforms you into a versatile architect of positive change in any domain you choose. A profound way to deepen your own daily power is to use your strengths and habits to contribute to others or larger causes. As you cultivate your personal power through effective habits, you'll likely find you have more energy, clarity, and capacity. Channeling some of this towards making a positive impact beyond yourself can bring immense fulfillment and reinforce your own positive traits. This could involve mentoring someone, volunteering your time or skills for a cause you believe in, or simply using your well-honed habits, like discipline or empathy, to be a more supportive friend, colleague, or community member. For example, someone who has mastered the habit of daily focused work might volunteer to help a nonprofit organize a complex project. This works because contributing to something larger than oneself often provides a deep sense of purpose, which is a powerful intrinsic motivator and a hallmark of a thriving individual. It also allows you to see your habits creating value in the world, further solidifying their importance. To truly embody daily power, teach or share the principles of effective habit formation. As mentioned before, teaching is one of the most effective ways to deepen your own understanding and mastery of a subject. When you explain the concepts of growth mindset, habit loops, identity-based habits, or system design to someone else, you clarify these ideas for yourself and reinforce their importance in your own life. This could be informal conversations with friends or family, mentoring a junior colleague, or even creating content that shares your journey and insights. This practice works because it forces you to articulate and systematize your knowledge, solidifying it in your own mind. It also positions you as a resource and a leader, further embedding the identity of someone who is a master of their daily actions and personal growth. Finally, embrace the journey with joyful discipline and compassionate persistence. Living with daily power isn't about rigid, joyless adherence to schedules. It's about finding the satisfaction and even joy in the process of consistent effort and continuous improvement. Cultivate a sense of gratitude for your ability to shape your life through your daily actions. And when you inevitably face setbacks or periods where your discipline wanes, approach yourself with compassion, not condemnation. Remember the growth mindset. A slip is an opportunity to learn and recommit, not a sign of ultimate failure. This balance of joyful discipline and compassionate persistence makes the path sustainable and fulfilling for the long haul. Consider Alicia, who, after transforming her health and productivity through meticulously crafted habits, now embodies daily power. She regularly reviews her routines, adjusting them as her career and family life evolve. She has applied her habit-building skills to learning a new language and to cultivating deeper mindfulness in her relationships. She volunteers her organizational skills, a product of her well-honed habits, at a local community center. She often shares her habit-building journey with friends who are struggling, finding that explaining the principles reinforces her own commitment. She approaches her disciplined lifestyle not as a burden, but as a source of strength and joy, and she is kind to herself on days when things don't go perfectly. Her life is a testament to how consistent, empowered daily actions can lead to extraordinary sustained flourishing. Living with daily power is the art of conducting your life with intention, skill, and unwavering commitment to growth. It means your days are not just lived, but mindfully crafted, each habit a deliberate stroke on the canvas of your evolving masterpiece. The principles you've embraced are not just for achieving specific goals, but for cultivating a way of being that is inherently powerful, resilient, and capable of continuous self-transcendence. This is the ultimate expression of crafting unstoppable habits effectively, creating a life where your daily actions consistently pave the path to your highest potential and most profound fulfillment. This exploration of daily power has guided you through the essential pillars of personal transformation, from embracing a growth mindset that unlocks your potential for change, to deconstructing old patterns and architecting new, identity-aligned habits. You've learned to build supportive systems, overcome internal resistance with clarity, and sustain your momentum by pursuing mastery within your daily routines. The journey culminates in not just possessing a toolkit of habit-building strategies, but in embodying a life of daily empowerment, where your actions consistently reflect your highest aspirations. Remember, the power to craft an extraordinary life resides in the small, deliberate choices you make each day. You are the architect of your habits, and therefore, the architect of your destiny. Thank you for dedicating your time to daily power, crafting unstoppable habits effectively. We sincerely hope this journey has provided you with both the inspiration and the practical tools to build habits that will serve you for a lifetime, empowering you to achieve your goals and live a more fulfilling life. The ability to consciously shape your daily actions is a profound skill, and we commend you for investing in your growth. If you found this audiobook valuable, we would be grateful if you would like this video, share your biggest takeaways or any questions you might have in the comments below, and subscribe to Brainpower Blueprint for more content designed to help you unlock your full potential. Your support enables us to continue creating resources for personal development and mastery.